make a quick video to give a bit more detailed instruction how to use the MyMacros app. So remember, we can get points for 1 full day of all the food and drinks we had for the day. So if we log everything we had to eat and drink in 1 day, we get 1 point for that. And I'm gonna ask to look at those every 2 weeks. So we can get a total of 14 points in 2 weeks, right? So let's dive in real quick. So I want to go into that left corner at the top, and let's say I had some eggs this morning. I would type that in, press search, and I can use that top option. And I had 3 eggs, change that to 3, add that to my breakfast, and I had it with some olive oil. I cooked it with some olive oil, so let's add that in there. It's very important. I put in a tablespoon, boom, fried it up on my pan, and clicking off of it, you'll see my breakfast of 21 grams of protein, 3 carbs, 29 of fats. Okay, so that was my breakfast. I want to make sure we're really good on amounts. So let's say olive oil, a tablespoon is about a thumb size. If I use half of it, I would make sure this is half a tablespoon. Okay, so this is an example how you can put in breakfast. Once you have that input in there, you'll be able to go to your recents, and all your foods that you put in will be available for quick access. So you won't have to constantly search for them. Right? So we talked about that previously, so it might be review for some of you. One other thing is, if there isn't certain foods in there, or actually, let's say you guys eat out. I like to break down a meal in terms of its main ingredients. So let's say you went out, whatever it was, let's say you had a sandwich, you want to break it down into what was actually in the sandwich. So let's say grilled chicken, right? A grilled chicken sandwich, type that in, chicken. Okay, so you want to try to use something that's pretty. Grilled chicken breast. Actually, this isn't a good idea. I would rather go to just chicken breast. And I will go into generic and kind of estimate about how many ounces of chicken was in your sandwich. About 4 to 5 ounces is your palm size. So it's about a palm size, let's say 4 ounces. Right? So that was what was in the chicken, what was in the sandwich. Okay? So I'll throw it into my lunch. Boom. Okay? Now that's in my lunch. Now let's say I had it with mayonnaise. I want to make sure I throw the condiment in there. Right? So mayo, I'm looking that up. Mayo. Okay, real mayo. I'm going to say about a tablespoon, about a thumb size. Throw that in there. Okay. So obviously we can't have a sandwich with just chicken breast and mayo. We need some bread. So I would again go back up there, put in the best possible option. Let's say we put in some ciabatta bread. It's a fancy sandwich. Super fancy. You can see there's a ton of options for ciabatta. Okay, you want to make sure the amount is correct. So this is just 1 slice, and you want to pick the version that has about the same amount of macros. So let's say the generic one is very similar to this one, right? It's pretty similar, so it's pretty reliable then in terms of its macro count, protein, carbs, and fats. You want to pick the one that's more common. So I would pick this one. Let's say generic, 2 slices, done. Okay, so that is my lunch. Chicken breast, real mayo, ciabatta. If it was grilled, it probably didn't have oil, so I'm confident with not adding any oil. For me personally, I don't put veggies. I find it too cumbersome, and it doesn't really allot for a lot of the macro count, right? It doesn't have a ton of calories, so I personally don't add in there. You can if you want, but to save time and to make this more of a realistic habit that you can do every day, I would just put in the big blocks like chicken breast, mayo, ciabatta, right? And this will give us a macro count for your lunch. It came out to about 43 grams of protein, 52 grams of carbs, and about 12 grams of fats. Right? So this would be one meal for us. Okay? Right, so we have breakfast, lunch, and then we can throw in whatever you have for dinner. Same thing. Okay? I want to stress making sure you're putting in the right amounts. That's very important. Try to put your best estimate. Okay? Right? And lastly, if you can't find anything in there, and when you search for something and you can't seem to find a good option, you can always just Google it. Go to Google and you can look up a macro amount for whatever your macro amounts for whatever food you're looking for. Let's say it probably is in there, but just for the sake of example, let's say a potato. Nutrition. Alright, so I'm looking up, yeah, there we go, potato nutrition facts. Potato nutrition, so one potato, you guys can see this. You can read our nutrition facts. One potato, about 148 grams, 5.3 ounces, 26 grams of carbs, 3 grams of protein. So we have that information, 26 and 3. Now we will go back into our app, and you would go down here, add custom food, and type that in. Obviously, you're going to be able to find a potato in the search option, but let's just say if you weren't able to, you would put in the macros here, 26, 3. This was, I remember it was 5.3 ounces, all right, and it's in there. So I'm gonna say I had that for dinner. I had a potato for dinner, 5.3 ounces, right? Very important that we put in the right amount. All right, so that's about one potato, and I'm adding it to my dinner. Oops. So now I have it as part of my dinner, right? So obviously I'm having more than a potato for dinner, at least I am. If there's other stuff in there that you had, you can throw that in there too, all right? So if you had these, if this was all you had today, which I do not recommend, this would be a full day's worth of food, and we would get 1 point for that. Okay? We don't need pictures for a full day's of food. The only time we need pictures is when you're actually cooking something at home, and you take a picture of that and the screenshot of the macro. So I would take just a screenshot. Let's just say I had a potato for dinner, which is not likely. I will just post this along with a picture of my potato into the Discord server. Okay? Alright guys, so hope this video is not too long. If you have any questions, please feel free to shout. And looking forward to seeing some tasty food options, home cooked foods in our Discord server. Please reach out with any questions, and let's win this competition. Thanks, guys.